Welcome to the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen, covering the week that was in professional wrestling. And welcome once again to the Juice Box. Another episode here. I am Juice Springsteen. A lot of stuff to cover. You can follow me on Twitter or X or whatever the kids call it nowadays. At Juicy Steen. Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram. JuicySteen.podbean.com. And as always, Google Podcasts. Apple Podcasts. Wherever you can find this show, please rate it, review it, give it 5 straws. That would be fantastic if you guys could show up and show out for the Juice Box. I try to do the best that I can each and every single week for you, the listener, wherever you may be. A lot of stuff to cover, as I said. Kind of going back and forth between stuff with SummerSlam, and we'll connect it with Raw. SummerSlam, was last Saturday. This is coming out on Friday morning. Therefore, there will not be a follow-up on the SmackDown side of things. Although I will discuss what is happening and why it could be important. We'll talk about SmackDown and everything as it pertains in that realm here soon. But SummerSlam was a fun show for sure. I thought it was pretty solid card before the show happened, and I could say I don't think I was really disappointed, to be honest with you. I thought that everything was pretty solid, all things considered. I thought the main event was pretty good. There were some highlights outside of the main event. Cody Brock was really good. Logan Paul, Ricochet was really good. Of course, I thought the triple threat women's title match was fantastic. And again, we'll get to all of these little things as we move forward with this episode today. But SummerSlam. Love it being on a Saturday. I've said that before. I really enjoy the weekend PLEs. They just putting them on a Saturday really gives you that sense of, it's a special night. You don't have to worry about, going to work the next day for the most part. And, it's a good feeling. We got a couple more PLEs coming up pretty soon. We have Payback coming to Pittsburgh Saturday, September 2nd, which this podcast will be leading up to. It will be interesting. Pretty sure we'll have a predictions podcast for that show. Who will be on that podcast? I'm not sure. I know I will be there. We will try to see if Josh Eisenberg is available. I'm just going to leave it at that. We don't really know what's going to happen, but things could be happening for that Payback predictions show. As we get closer to the show, of course, I will detail certain things that will be happening. If there's any sort of gatherings before the show or what have you, I will detail those before we venture off into Payback. But that's about 3.5 weeks away. We're not just quite there yet. SummerSlam will lead into Payback. We saw the Payback poster featuring all 4 members of the Judgment Day, which I thought was pretty cool. It would seem as if they're going to be a strong focus going forward to this show, which with the results of SummerSlam doesn't necessarily shock me in any way. Judgment Day really only had half their main Actually, you know what? They didn't have they only had part of it in there. They only had Finn Balor, who, I said half because Damian Priest was going to be out there, and he was, and it didn't really. My bold prediction of Finn Balor winning the world title and then Damian Priest immediately cashing in on him did not come to fruition, unfortunately. But still, I thought that the Judgment Day going forward has some promise, especially now. So with them being on the poster, it's not like they have to be involved in anything crazy, but I would assume you will see Dom Mysterio and Rhea Ripley in action. Maybe we'll see a Damian Priest Finn Balor tag team match where they team up to face another squad of guys. We'll see about that as well. But I would assume Payback is going to have some sort of Judgment Day inclusion, considering they are on the chair. But I did want to note that little note. Let's get into SummerSlam as a whole, though. I do realize I am jumbling around a little bit, but we have a lot of interesting things, so I don't really want to miss anything per se. So I'm going off of results. I'm going off of tweets, seeing what happened. But so the opening match I thought was fantastic. It was Logan Paul and Ricochet, as we had anticipated, because Logan Paul wanted to walk his brother to the ring as Jake Paul was in a boxing match later on that night. And I thought, if the match, having this hype of, well, there's going to be something viral, you really don't know what they're going to try to do. You know that they want to do something special, but sometimes you feel, or at least I do, that when you hype up something and say there's going to be a viral moment, there probably won't be a viral moment. And the match was good. I thought it was really good. And Logan Paul gets the win. I would say my favorite spot of the whole match was the flip, like the buckshot lariat that Logan Paul's been doing, but from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring, one fell swoop, and nailing Ricochet with it. I thought that was a fantastic display of athleticism by Logan Paul. But Logan Paul gets the win, and he does actually end up going to walk his brother out to the ring, which I thought was really cool. And he had a black eye, looked kind of disheveled. And to be fair, Logan Paul looked like he had more bumps and bruises than his brother ended up having after his fight. So, just a pretty good match. I'm really, I'm happy for Ricochet. Now they put Ricochet on the front of like the new like poster-ish, I don't know what you want to call it, for USA and Raw. Like they have a new Raw this Monday, and it's got 4 stars on it, and I do believe Ricochet is at the forefront of that. So that's pretty cool to give that vote of confidence, by WWE and USA Network alike. But I believe it was around 18 minutes, this match, so longer than I anticipated. But I was happy with the outcome, for sure. So then we get Cody Brock 3 immediately, and this was a damn good match. Cody wins clean, center of the ring, 3 crossroads. I get a lot of Vader versus Sting vibes with those two, and I just really think that they rise to the occasion when the spotlights are on. And Cody got a big win. I thought it was the right move. And, as we sit here, I'm recording this on August 10th. With how everything went in their match, with everything that went on in the main event, I would say, barring any unforeseen incidents, Roman Reigns will be defending the undisputed Universal title at WrestleMania 40 against Cody Rhodes. That's where I'm really, really not locking it in as if it has to happen, but to me at this juncture, I haven't seen anybody step up to the plate and be a credible threat. Now, we will get a little bit closer to who I think could have a shot in between now and WrestleMania. And we'll talk about WrestleMania in a little bit as well. Later on, as the tickets go on sale in a few weeks. A couple weeks, actually. Actually, next Friday. Forget the whole thing. But yeah, Cody Brock was good. Cody gets the big win clean. And then something that apparently was unscripted, unplanned. And Cody was afraid, really, I say is for his life, but it was probably just for, is Brock going to pull me in for another F5? Is he going to shoot on me? Is this, outside of the realm of what we're supposed to do? Like, what's going to happen here? Cody wins. Brock then raises the hand of Cody Rhodes after shaking his hand. And to be fair, don't know if I've ever seen Brock Lesnar do that. It is a massive endorsement for Brock Lesnar to give to Cody Rhodes. And I loved it. I got to be honest. I loved it. I thought, we've had discussions before. And the real big question stemming from The Undertaker's streak being broken by Brock Lesnar was, when you do something like this, you realize that like anything Brock Lesnar does now has to be like incredible. It has to be at such a level that we might not have seen before. And I only say that because with the streak being so long, 21-0, 21 years of The Undertaker winning. When you end that, the guy that ends that has so much pressure to maintain that momentum, maintain that aura, and the feel of having a special run post that match. And with Taker and Brock, when that happened, people were concerned. Is Brock going to be able to withstand having, it's pressure, but I say it's pressure, but in reality, it's just pressure creatively. Not that I didn't think Brock could do it, but, I didn't have faith that the creative side of things would really help Brock get to another level, prove that The Undertaker losing his streak was the right call, stuff like that. Little did we know that at SummerSlam, it was going to be Cena entering Suplex City for the first time, and that was it. Lesnar was on to bigger and better things. He won the title that night, and, everything changed for Brock for better. And when that happens and you have then, a 9-year run, give or take some years off for Brock Lesnar, I think that's pretty good to maintain, beating the streak. Now, I know. On the other side, Roman Reigns didn't beat the streak, but he was another guy that beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So with that, it's like, okay, so Lesnar has a little bit less pressure to be something super, super, big. I don't know, big for his character to go forward. He beat The Undertaker. He wins the title. He does all these great things. He proved creative correct in making that call, right? Roman defeats Taker. People hated it. Everybody did not like it. They were receptive to Undertaker putting his boots and gloves in the ring, and that was great and all. Of course, that was undone the next year at Mania, and then again with the Boneyard match and some Saudi matches, So, Taker then has his match. He doesn't actually retire with Roman. But Roman then proceeds. He has a couple years where he's really just going at it with Brock. It's the two guys that beat Taker at Mania. And then we hit the pandemic, and Roman Reigns begins this bloodline thing, and we're here where we are now. So both guys, really, some took a little bit more time than the other, but elevated so high after defeating Undertaker at WrestleMania. With that all being said, now you have Brock Lesnar, who is in a not blood feud, but I've called it an obstacle feud, where Cody has to find more obstacles to overcome as he tries to, quote, finish the story. So with all that said, Cody gets this win. He's 2-1 against Brock. Brock endorses, he hugs him, he shakes his hand, he, holds his hand, raises his hand up high. If you notice a little bit of a nuance from WWE Productions, who I've been critical of, a lot of people have been critical of, and for good reason. People that don't even watch wrestling have been critical of the camera cuts. When they hug in the ring and they show Cody and Brock, back each part of the cams, hard cam, left, right, they do the hand raising thing, and then Brock leaves the ring, and they look in on Cody, and the camera cuts pretty well at his face, and then it kind of cuts down just a little bit on Dream, which is right over his heart. So to me, it's clear that they are trying to finish the story. That's still the end game, to quote, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we are now, I think, still on track for a Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 40 main event. Whether I think that's the right call or not, that's really not me. It's not my way to intervene there, but I don't know. And spoiler alert, we did not see The Rock, and we did not see Rikishi at this show. We didn't see Undertaker. We didn't see Batista. We didn't see Randy Orton at this show. So maybe it's just bigger than what we think. Maybe Cody and Roman aren't going to need the extra stuff. Maybe it will be at Mania, and maybe that's it. Maybe this is it. But I'm almost shifting from, well, if The Rock doesn't show up at WrestleMania, I give up on The Rock coming back to wrestling and blah, blah, blah. And Grayson Waller's trying to do that, even though he was just in the Battle Royal. But he did not have a segment, which I kind of found depressing. I thought we were going to have another crazy return there, but it's not to be. So outside of having The Rock come back at 40, I think that if Roman doesn't lose the title at WrestleMania 40, I'm not sure there's a person that could defeat Roman. Now, we will get to someone who I think could challenge, and I would believe could do it, but I don't know if they'll build that up by the time it's time. Slim Jim, SummerSlam, Battle Royal. The crowd was hot for this. LA Knight won the Battle Royal, last eliminating Sheamus, and the crowd was super over into this thing. LA Knight is such a megastar right now. Again, no title needed. He got a big moment in front of a big crowd, and I thought it was well executed. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be. I saw videos of fans watching their TVs, being extremely excited that LA Knight won the match, which proves to you, everything. There's a lot of fans that really are behind LA Knight at this stage in the game. So I really think that he's got something going now. Will he get a shot, a future shot at the U.S. title or IC title? Hopefully it's the U.S. title, and I think he could win it. Now, when that happens, Remains to be seen. Could it happen at Payback in Pittsburgh? Maybe. Could it happen at Fastlane in October in Indianapolis? Maybe. But I think we're a little bit out of the, we're too far away. SmackDown has not happened yet. We have not seen LA Knight since SummerSlam. So hopefully we will be able to figure something out for what he's doing the next time you hear me. I will say, though, as a programming note, next week will be an all Ask Juice episode. It will not be a live to tape of the week episode. I will not be at my normal recording locations for the pod next week. Therefore, I will be doing a show a little bit in advance, and it will still be airing next Friday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, wherever you get your podcasts. But outside of that, there won't be any news from the previous Raw or the SmackDown from this week. The following week, which I do believe that show will air. Let's see. On the 25th. Which that could be a little bit of an all-in preview show. Because the following week will be the predictions for Payback. And as I stated before, that could be a very exciting show, to say the least. But we'll get there. But yeah, time's coming up on these big shows. But we'll have a whole Ask Juice episode next week. That should be fun. Got some good questions that I cannot wait to answer. And we'll get there. But yeah, we had LA Knight winning. And he was also featured in the Slim Jim commercial with Bianca Belair, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought it was a great idea to have them as spokespeople for Slim Jims, with Randy Savage still being on the TV, kind of busting and saying, "Step into it," still having the aura of the Macho Man, the guy who really put the Slim Jim ads on the map. So yeah, I thought LA Knight and the Slim Jim Battle Royal was pretty good. And then we get to Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, MMA rules. Shayna defeats Ronda in less than 8 minutes, made her pass out. I don't even think she tapped out. Good night, good luck. That's pretty much it. I have not much else to say. Seems like Ronda's done from WWE for a while. I would like to see her back. I would not want this to be the end of Ronda. But if Ronda does come back, I would like to see her get a little bit, more polished on the mic. Maybe not necessarily in the ring, but just on the mic maybe. And see what kind of avenues you can go with that. Because I think Ronda Rousey could do a lot of good still with WWE. I think the fans kind of turned on the creative direction that she was really kind of given. And it's just tough to follow her debut at Mania 34. I thought that was such a great match and moment with her, Angle, and the McMahon-Helmsley era. And of course, when you have something like that, you can only top it once or twice, and she did top it by the following year, being a part of the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. Not much else to go, after that. So it's been an interesting ride for Ronda Rousey, but I'm happy Shayna Baszler got the victory. It seems as if we will get some sort of Shayna Baszler push. We'll see what that brings. We'll go into Raw in a little bit here, but continue with SummerSlam. Gunther and Drew McIntyre was a solid match, less than 15 minutes. Gunther gets the win by pin, and I thought, again, these guys love just beating the tar out of each other. And I mentioned Roman Reigns earlier. I think if Cody Rhodes is not the story to be finished, I would highly consider Gunther as somebody who could win against Roman Reigns and dethrone Roman Reigns. Now, my only issue with that is that there hasn't been enough built up with Gunther to this point to where, not that it wouldn't be believable, but I do believe that it would be tough to, I guess the best way to put it is fast track Gunther's rise from not being IC champion to world champion. Look, you win the Royal Rumble, it might not matter. And I've said before, I think Gunther should be in the final four of the next Royal Rumble in 2024. Rumored to be potentially at Tropicana Field. So we'll see what happens at Rumble 24. But I think Gunther could be that guy to potentially take Roman's title. But like I said, it's more believable that he could do it. I just don't know. I don't know if creatively they could build a story that a lot more people would believe in regards to that. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think Roman and Cody are destined for Mania 40. I don't know what that means, if that's stale, if it's not. If they make it last till 40 and Cody wins, I think it could be all for good. I think it'd be great. I think it could, satisfy a lot of people. Everybody was heartbroken last year, and that's how you redeem it. You can't have the babyface win every year, and we haven't had the babyface win for 3 straight years. This is just how it is. And I like the booking. I like the confidence. I like the stick-to-itiveness that they're just like, you know what? This is working. Roman's working. The bloodline's working. Let's keep going. Let's keep trying new things. How long can we stretch this out and not make it seem lame or boring or tried and true, or exhausting? You want it to be fresh as you can get it and hopefully make it last longer, than some other stories that have been told in the past in the WWE realm. But when you got a guy like Roman and Paul Heyman, and you got the Usos, who we're going to get to, are having their own issues, we'll see. I think we got a lot of interesting stuff going forward with all those guys. Let's get back to SummerSlam. Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor for the world title. Thought that was a great match. Priest teased a lot of stuff, and it was just all not to be. Seth Rollins wins the match. And I will switch this over briefly now because I didn't see too much in the way of storytelling to an extent. Things happened on Raw, but nothing major of note outside of after the main event. Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on Seth Rollins. Looks like we might get Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Payback, which it's not like Nakamura's going to win, but damn it, will that be a good match. So I can't wait. We'll see what Finn Balor is going to do post SummerSlam. I still think that it could be Finn and Priest versus 2 other guys. Maybe they'll go after Zayn and Kevin Owens. We'll see. But we also got Bianca Belair, who is incredible in the ring. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. Defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair, who I don't need to tell you are incredible in the ring. But it's not that I've been critical of Bianca outside of referring to her as Jane Cena, but that's only, again, in the regards to creative, where they think she's it. I could agree she's it. She's in the commercials. She's an impressive ambassador for the company. She, has a lot of kids and the younger generation looking up to her, and she's in a huge spot. So for her to continue to be at the top of her game for so long now is really, sweet to see. But in this match, she appears to get injured on an outside move. I immediately thought it was a work purely because they never showed the angle of what happened. She kind of went over the top rope and hit the stairs, supposedly. But to me, it felt like more of like the noise of the stairs, and she kind of just sold it hard. And they never showed the angle from that side of the ring, so we couldn't really tell how it looked. So I kind of got the pieces together that it was a work. And she did reappear in the match. Hits a 450. So clearly her knee was, fine enough. And she ends up winning. the triple threat match for the women's title. However, Io Sky cashes in Money in the Bank and wins the title. Great moment. A great culmination of 1 year removed since last SummerSlam, where we had Damage Control beginning with Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley. Now, Bayley was there in attendance, and yes, Io Sky gets the win. Dakota Kai, the missing piece of the three, actually was there in attendance. She, I believe, had to fly in pretty late to the game and got to Detroit in time to celebrate with Damage Control. So 1 year ago, they debuted out of nowhere, and give another year, bang, SummerSlam, and now Io Sky is your WWE Women's Champion, which I love. Can't wait to see what kind of matches she's going to have going forward. I'm really looking forward to her title defenses. So we'll see. But I thought it was a really fun moment. Great cash in, great energy from the crowd. And looking forward to more from Io Sky. Now, I don't know what's next for Bianca, Charlotte, or Asuka. Those are three pinnacles in your women's division, and who knows what they can do outside of being champion. Will the chase be more important? We'll see. But yeah, fun moment. Good for Io Sky. Happy to see that happen. Main event, baby. Tribal Combat. Roman, Jey Uso, for the recognition of Tribal Chief of the NOI family and the undisputed WWE Universal title. 36 minutes. It was monotonous at times. It really could have been more exciting. And again, I'm not being critical of it as much as I am being critical of what they were given and the time and what they thought to do, because the end I enjoyed, because I know what they're finally getting to seemingly contradicts what happened before. So Jimmy Uso comes out in a disguise, takes Jey and super kicks him and turns on Jey. Jimmy, of course, had a problem with Roman and was out of the bloodline pretty much on his own merit after he, had his falling out. You've seen the stories. You've watched the shows. You know what's happened. So with all that going on, it's interesting to me that they now turn to Jimmy as the guy who turns on Jey. Jey is now the baby face of the two. But my question is, and again, we're not going to know, at least on this show, what happens on SmackDown. Hasn't happened yet. And then by next week, the show will come out, and it's going to be on Friday anyway, so we won't know until the following show. I'm not sure we're going to get Jimmy versus Jey at Payback. Maybe we get Jey Uso and, I don't know, somebody else versus Jimmy and somebody else. I don't know if Roman wrestles. Do we get Solo and Jimmy versus Jey and, insert upcoming wrestler? I really don't know. Again, without the knowledge of what happens on SmackDown later on tonight, I really can't figure out what is going to happen. So that's really a good thing as well, though. I can't say how much I love the anticipation as much as I do sometimes the execution. Thought it was a fine match, though. I liked the Jimmy turn. Again, even if it's contradictory, you got to figure out something next. And if it's not a Payback, I would love to see Jimmy versus Jey at WrestleMania. I think that's something that they've wanted to do for a while. I think it'd be a great moment for the brothers to have that spotlight. You could kind of brand it as a main event. I don't think you'd main event night one with it. Again, way too early to tell, and we'll get into the WrestleMania of it all in a little bit as well after I talk about this match. But yeah, I really didn't think it was that bad of a turn. But Michael Cole had the best line since day one, which is perfect based off the day one-ish, and I don't know, everything that they're about. It was a perfect couple of lines there, and like to give a shout out to Michael Cole, who now him and Wade Barrett will be on Monday Night Raws, giving Corey and Kevin Patrick SmackDown. Is that correct, or am I actually? You know what? I might be mistaken. I think I want to make sure I get this correct because I do know Michael Cole's going to be on both shows. Sorry for some dead air here, but yeah. So we will get Cole and Wade Barrett for your Monday Night Raw every week. But on SmackDown, you're going to get a three-man booth of Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves, and Michael Cole, which I also still like. I like a three-man booth in certain situations. I think it's an interesting way to do it on SmackDown. I think Kevin Patrick needs a little bit of guidance. Not that he's bad, but fans have been critical of his exasperated tone, certain ways he does things. I think it could just be toned down a little, and he'd be really good. I like his voice. I like his vernacular. I like the way he goes about describing certain events. It just seems like he's really, really like pushing to get those words to a point where I think he could just hang back a little bit and kind of let it flow naturally, and maybe it would sound a little bit I don't know other term to call it other than less exasperated. But Michael Cole with a great line there. And yeah, so I don't know what we're going to get. Don't know if we're going to get anything at Payback with the Usos, Solo, Roman. I don't know if Roman will wrestle until Survivor Series. Really, I'm unsure about that. But I don't know. SummerSlam was fun, though. Really enjoyed the show. Good show. We will go a little bit. Just want to go off to the AEW side of it in a little bit as well. Because Collision was also Saturday night, and Dynamite on Wednesday this past week was interesting. We have a few matches already now set for All In, so I will discuss those. Let's go to Raw real quick, just in case. Excuse me, I missed something. So I love the Cody bit. We'll see what happens because Cody and Nakamura and Rollins were in the 6-man. So I don't know what Cody's going to be doing at Payback, assuming he's on the show. But I enjoyed the Intercontinental title fatal 4-way for the number one contendership, rather. And it was Ricochet, Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Chad Gable. Chad Gable gets the win, pins Ciampa, his kid's in the audience, and he celebrates with his kid. I thought it was fantastic. Gotta be honest. Maybe spoiler alert. And I know I've been saying it. I know, it's not 1987 anymore. I know it's not going to be Honky Tonk's reign anymore. Probably a week and a half after Payback. But I tell you this, Chad Gable is the guy to dethrone Gunther. Much like American Alpha defeated the Revival back at TakeOver Dallas. I think you're going to get Chad Gable dethroning Gunther in a wild, extraordinarily physical match. So I think that's going to be what happens. I think Chad Gable is going to be the one to do it. And I think he's the right call. I just think it has to be after Gunther passes the record. But seeing Chad Gable wrestle like that and with his kid and everything, it's set up right there. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that is the case. I just hope it doesn't happen at Payback. It'd be great to have the match at Payback, but I don't want the title change to happen until Gunther surpasses the record. But damn, how great would that be for Gable to kind of interrupt the record and win before he passes Honky Tonk Man? How crazy would that be? But Shayna Baszler gets a decent match out of Zoe Stark. Don't know what she's going to be going forward with, but Shayna Baszler, that is. Not much else really happened on Raw, again, outside of the finish where Nakamura hits Rollins with the Kinshasa. So I can't wait for that inevitable match at Payback. Wow, a lot of WWE stuff, but let's get into some AEW. Be a quick little rundown before we close out. I did want to make some quick notes, though. We'll do that at the end. We'll save that at the end. Dynamite, though, Collision, all of it. We had Collision where Ricky Starks beat up Ricky Steamboat after the match with CM Punk. Seems like we'll get some sort of I don't know what with Punk, and we're gonna get CMFTR versus the House of Black this week on Collision for the trios titles. Doubt the trios titles get taken by CMFTR, but I'm curious as if Ricky Starks has something to say or gets involved with the match, considering what happened with Steamboat. But we had the Hardys and the Young Bucks, which was good. Young Bucks look great. Hardys winding down. They are winding down their careers. They got it still, but I think it's almost time. Hikaru Shida retained her women's title, which was good. Lucha Bros lost to Moxley and Claudio of the BCC. The Jericho Appreciation Society is all but over. It seems like Jericho is the last guy of the group, which I like, because now it means he'll probably go along with Takeshita and potentially Don Callis in what could be an incredibly great heel team, or pairing rather. MJF and Adam Cole, they had a vignette where they were throwing dodgeballs at a trampoline park and destroying kids with dodgeballs. Thought that was fantastic. And then, of course, Roddy Strong comes out to interrupt their in-ring promo and is saying, I don't trust this guy. I don't know why. And Adam Cole's fed up with him, and MJF basically called him a basic bitch, told him to go back to, go back home and just stop trying to get involved with all this. And then Matt Taven and Mike Bennett come out again and console Roddy Strong. I don't know if it's a red herring. I don't know if we're going to get, some sorts of swerve with Roddy. Is he on Adam's side? Is he on the Kingdom's side? Is he with MJF? Is Adam Cole going to be with the Kingdom? Is MJF going to turn? There's a lot going on, but they got a match at Wembley, baby. Wembley Stadium. And we'll get to the card here in just a second of what's going to happen. But I thought the highlight of the whole night, got to be honest, Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam. Damn it, RVD looks great. 52, 53 maybe? I'm not real sure. He hit the spinning corkscrew leg drop from the apron to the back of Jack Perry on the guardrail. It looked like 98 again. Looked like 25 years ago. He's very athletic. I was saying the Young Bucks Hardys match was tough because the Hardys, kind of seemed like they might be at the end of their rope, but damn, dude. And I don't mean that with pun, intentions, but RVD looked so good. I don't know how else to put it. So thrilled to see RVD come out to Walk by Pantera and just have a great, great showing against Jack Perry. So we'll see what happens going forward with that. Jack Perry, of course, gets the win after a low blow. But I think something interesting will happen as we get closer to All In. Now, All In, as of this time, I will say we have now seen that the tickets sold for AEW All In at Wembley Stadium has now surpassed the amount of tickets sold for Wembley Stadium's SummerSlam 92. So that should tell you a lot about where AEW is right now and how big this show is actually going to be. They keep touting it as, quote, the biggest event in wrestling history. So we'll see. But let's go over what we've got here. On the buy-in, MJF and Adam Cole are challenging Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. So this is not on pay-per-view. You're going to see these two enter and have their whole spiel and shtick and everything. I don't like it. I don't like it. Not that, I think it's a bad idea necessarily, but here's my thing. Two things. You're going to get this entrance of MJF and Adam Cole, who the crowd's going to be just waiting for this to happen, right? They're going to see it immediately with the 0 hour. So like you just ruin the first time for it. That's all. But you're going to get a lot of other cool things happening as well. So I guess, can't all be bad. Maybe if the match even happens, right? We don't even know. If the match does happen, there's always a risk of injury. Can you imagine if either MJF or Adam Cole get injured in this match and potentially can't work the main event like 3 or 4 hours later? It's the biggest event in wrestling history, and you have your main event in a match before the show starts. And it's not like the match doesn't count. It's for, there's stakes, and I just hope that the match either doesn't happen or it just is a quick match. I don't know. I don't like it. I just want it to go off without a hitch, but I don't know. FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles. That is going to be ridiculous. We're going to get Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm versus either Saraya, Sky Blue, or Saraya or Sky Blue, and either Britt Baker or the Bunny. So it could be Shida, Storm, Saraya, and potentially Britt Baker, which would be interesting to say the least. I think that'd be a star-studded fatal four-way, but I kind of would like to see Sky Blue in there. I think she could be an underdog, and the crowd would be into it, but I don't know. I think it could be a way where Toni Storm could regain a title. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. MJF and Adam Cole, of course, is the main event. And then we got redemption across the board for Swerve Strickland, who people wrote off in WWE, or NXT rather. They wrote off when he came to AEW. They wrote him off as like a serious collaborator with artists and stuff of that nature. Darby Allin and Sting are going to take on the Mogul Embassy, which is AR Fox and Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in a tag team coffin match at Wembley. Sting had his WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 31, and, everybody around WWE was like, oh, this is the big time Sting. Such a degrading way of phrasing, as if Sting was never in the big time. That was something that really pissed me off back then. And now Sting is going to be performing in front of well over that crowd at Mania 31 that was in San Francisco at Levi's. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. The fact that we get AR Fox AR Fox in a huge 80,000 seat arena against Sting. I don't know. All these pieces of this match are incredible. Now, yes, it is a coffin match, but I'm holding out hope that we get Surfer Sting for this match. I think it would be fantastic. I think it'd be right. So we'll see. I know that the coffin match is more of a black and white Sting, Crow Sting, what have you, but I think it would be dope if they could pull off Surfer Sting. Quick little notes before we head out of here, though. Sonya Deville, shout out to her. Hopefully she gets better soon. Confirmed, I believe, torn ACL. So the tag titles are vacated or anything, but Chelsea Green's one half of the tag champs. Apparently, Matt Cardona, he was half of one half, so a quarter of the tag champs, but now he might just be half of the tag champs. We'll see. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And then WrestleMania tickets go on sale August 18th to the general public, Ticketmaster.com, both nights, night 1 and night 2. I would like to go to WrestleMania next year. It's in Philadelphia, as a relative native of Western PA. Definitely doable. Wouldn't have to fly. Not that I don't fly, but I mean, how much cheaper is it going to be to drive there? And just a lot of things are going to be easier and should be more manageable. And I think it'd be incredible to do it. We'll see. You will find out in a couple of weeks whether I will be attending WrestleMania or not. So we'll find out. That'll be fun. But yeah, WrestleMania tickets on sale Friday the 18th. So 1 week from today, we'll find out who's going to WrestleMania. How quickly will it sell out? I know they had the priority passes and all those things going. And I know that it's been rather not critiqued, but the amount of money it is to get these passes is pretty damn insane. Really, really insane. But you get like hotel room and like multiple nights of whatever row you want to be in. So I kind of like it that you can do that, especially if you're an international traveler and you want to go. But personally, I'm just trying to go to the nights and go and watch it. I don't need front row. Bucket list of mine is to be front row hard camera for WrestleMania, but at least for one night of it. But that will be in the future. I don't think that's going to happen here anytime soon. So let's just see if I can go regularly to this WrestleMania. So less of me rambling, more of the Juice Box next week, as we will have once again an all Ask Juice episode. That I can assure you will be a shorter episode, but it'll be a nice little break while I'm on a little break. But I wanted to make sure we got a pod out on time, because they say you miss 1 week of the podcast, you might not ever be able to get that week back. So you want to be consistent, and I want to be consistent along with that frame. So good episode today, I thought. I enjoyed talking about all these things. SummerSlam was a fun show. Can't wait for Payback in a couple of weeks. Like I said, we'll get some fine-tuning on the prediction show. What could be happening before Payback, if there's any sort of spot before the show where people might be gathering, what have you. We'll see. But looking forward to it. We've got a lot of fun wrestling shows coming up towards the end of this month and beginning into the next month as we enter the fall. So, yeah, this has been the Juice Box this week. As always, again, Twitter, Juicy Steen, Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram, juicysteen.podbean.com, iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can find me, rate and review. 5 stars, 5 straws. I'm Juice Springsteen, and I will see you guys next week for an All Ask Juice episode of the Juice Box. That was the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to subscribe to the Juice Box wherever you listen to podcasts.